Thanks at everyone for being part of our 1K family and the new channel. Thanks for the support. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notification and set to all for daily updates. r/NoSleep. Posted by you/Philipxander. I have no rules at my security job because I have to write them. Part 2. I don't know how I am still alive, but here I am apparently. However, I fear I lost all track of time while I was in here. I don't know how much has passed nor if this message will reach out as connection waned as soon as I felt the security booth moving. Hell, I don't even know if or when this message will reach out. I tried to keep my calm but it has been kind of hard. Here's what I recollect. As soon as the floor started moving, I dared to watch outside, only to see nothing but pure blackness, like always. Maybe, if I open the door it will stop, I thought. And so I did. As soon as I opened the door, a breeze like the one you feel when you stick your hand out of a moving train entered the room. I was really moving, although I couldn't understand exactly how an office could move. But well, I know now all those things I read were real indeed. I looked down at my notes. Do not under any circumstances break any of these rules. 1. If you see a flickering light nearing in the distance, hide for a few minutes and it will go away. I don't know what happens if you don't. 2. If the camera starts emitting static and showing you in the room with a creature, just ignore it and cover the camera. As for the third rule, there still hadn't been the need to write it. So far the moving of the office hadn't brought any malignant entity with it. So far I felt safe. Or so I thought. I closed the door and sat on the door to watch once again the security cameras. They showed nothing but pitch black now, even the one looking at the office. And then the static came back. I pulled out the gun of the holster. This time I wasn't gonna be lured out for sure. But that wasn't its plan. Whose plan? The plan of the warehouse, of course. This place is not only haunted, is an entity itself. Or a prison? I don't know. I just want to come back to my life. I suddenly heard frantic tapping on the window and I got pervaded by an irrefutable horror. The same malignant creature that showed up in the camera with black ooze was licking the glass with a satisfied smirk on its disgusting face. I tried to look at it, but I couldn't for more than a few seconds. I could sense its hunger. Not only for my meat and flesh but for my very soul. Whatever lived in this cursed place was as deranged as the place itself. A glitch in the matrix. A place where things that should not be, are. Panicking, I retreated myself to the back of the room. This was worthy of mentioning for Rule 3 for sure, however I first had to survive the encounter. It was at this time that I saw the creature melting its face through the glass. I didn't hesitate 1 second more and shot it. 2 times. When I reopened my eyes the glass was intact but the creature was no more. I also realized the security office had stopped moving, and I saw a dazzling lamp post in the distance. Was I back at start? The static sound from the cameras stopped and they all started showing different places. This time one was right above the lamp post I could clearly see from the window. The other was in a strange deranged amusement park security room where 3 guys were watching at cameras of their own. And the other showed a sign. 3 entered, 2 died, 1 ascended. My blood run cold. I don't know what this meant, but for certainly it had something to do with the demonic. I reloaded the gun with the ammunition in the closet and then I checked the glass. I was safe here. Rule 3, if you see the creature tapping and licking your window, wait for it to melt the glass before shooting it. If you don't, I cannot guarantee what will happen. I stopped myself after having written that. I didn't really want to be sent here anymore to write these rules, but I know they will eventually. Just like they always do. Covering the truth with fictional stories. So I might as well stay alive. I checked the clock. 3:30 a.m. The hour when the veil between the real world and the spirit world was nigh. Just 3 minutes away and I was spending it in a place which was most dreadful. As soon as the clock hit 3:33 a.m., I started hearing a chanting of some sort. A kind of disturbing lament coming from children. The flickering light of the lamp post was not nearing this time and I don't know how it fixed itself since the creature hit it while I was running. I suddenly heard knocking on the door. Hello there. I didn't know what to do. What if I didn't answer and whatever was outside got angry? I didn't know what to do, so I just looked near the window. What I saw will scar me for the rest of my life. Standing on the guard door there was a feminine figure with the head covered with thorns and rusty chains. It had 3 legs and 1 arm. It was a mess just to look at her. I immediately retracted myself down the booth and covered the window with the curtains. Jesus. What was outside would have fucking left wet a piss even the most Lionheart horror fan. The knocking continued. Hello there. I'm Maria. I just wanted to welcome you. We never have many visitors. I waited in silence. Then I started hearing the chanting again. Oh well, I understand your concern. Not everyone is able to see a girl as beautiful as me and think I'm sincere. However, I can assure you I mean no harm. I started focusing on my breathing to maintain myself undetected. I just wanted to tell you we're having a parade in the nearby town. We will be hanging the sacrifices on the lamp posts. I just really wanted to know if you were interested. Sacrifices? Good lord, I thought. Only lowborn do not appreciate the festivity. Are you a lowborn? Shit. I had to tell her something I didn't want to know what a lowborn was. No madam, sorry to not having answered you before I was using the toilet. I'm afraid I cannot leave this post or I'll be fired. Oh okay. She giggled. A pity you aren't a lowborn. I was looking for a sacrifice of mine to bring to the parade. Ma'am, mind if I ask? I mustered up all my courage. Could you describe a lowborn? I'm not from here, I never saw one. Oh well, they are, how can I say? Soft. Tender. All pink. They scream a lot, so strange. Jesus, lowborn were humans. I see indeed. Well, now I gotta return to my security services. Oh okay. She giggled again while getting away from the door. The parade should pass here, by the way, if you want to join later. I jumped on my chair and took a look at the lamp post. Maria was dancing happily near the post while having one of those foul creatures from before circling around her too like it was a good dog. She patted it on the head before looking towards the camera. Her face was covered with chains and thorns. Her messed up body nearing the camera. "Liar," she said. The banging on the door started and Maria and her creature were nowhere to be seen to the lamp post. The chanting was also nearer and nearer, and on the lamp post I saw a crowd of similar disgusting creatures who were hanging people with rusty chains. The guy was begging them to stop, to just let him die, but instead they peeled him and hanged him with their intestines. A demonic roar erupted from the door of the office. I know now why it was well built. Rule 4: whatever happens, don't answer to any knocking on the door. There you go. I made sure the next one will survive. But now I gotta survive myself. Next story of this video was posted by u/Robert Mort. I'm blind in my left eye, but I can still see out of it. Total vision loss. I stared at the ophthalmologist, my mouth hanging open. What? Your retina is completely destroyed. The light flicked away from my dilated pupils, and his blurry face came into view. Your right eye is fine. But the left. He shook his head. I'm sorry. That's impossible. I closed my right eye and looked around with my left, the supposedly blind one. Sure enough, I still saw the ophthalmologist's face, the dim interior of the office, all foggy and blurred. I can see out of my left eye. He paused, and a heavy silence fell over the air. Well, anything you see out of that eye is going to be produced by your mind, he said, picking his words carefully. If you're seeing things, you might want to talk to someone who can help. Someone obviously meant psychiatrist. Cheryl at the front desk can give you a referral. Do you need anything else? He asked, standing up. No. I watched his blurry form leave. Then my girlfriend was beside me, helping me out of the chair. She didn't say a word until we were back in the car. He's a quack. He went to MIT. So? Obviously you can see out of your left eye. And how would your retina have gotten destroyed, anyway? Birth defect? Infection? I don't know. I sighed and stared at the blurry silhouettes of the mountains in the distance, bluish-purple scrolling by. Is there any difference in your left eye? I don't think so. I placed a hand over my left eye, watching the world with my perfectly functioning one. Blurry road ahead, bright sunlight, mountains in the distance. I placed a hand over my right eye, and looked around with the supposedly blind one. The same image. I closed my left eye. Then my right. Then my left. Faster and faster, comparing every inch of the two images. Wait. In my left eye, the supposedly blind one, there was a dark spot on the mountain. Just slightly darker. Imperceptible, if I wasn't looking for a difference. Nestled under the highest peak, like a stain. Do you see anything on the mountain? Huh? I pointed to the blurry dark spot. Do you see anything there? Are you talking about the cell tower? I don't think so. We got home and I spent a few hours lying in bed, waiting for the meds to wear off. When they did, I walked into the kitchen to find Casey making dinner. You're cooking? Don't worry, I didn't burn it. She rolled her eyes. It's pasta. Impossible to mess up. And I cut my finger while dicing the garlic for the sauce, so you'd better like it. I bet I will, I lied. When I took a bite, I was pleasantly surprised. It was better than I expected, knowing Casey's cooking. Besides, it was the thought that mattered. Casey was always like that, thoughtful. We'd only started dating 6 months ago, but she always tried so hard to make me happy. We sat down at the dinner table, joking and laughing, and things almost felt back to normal. Almost. I stopped mid-bite. Closed my left eye, then my right. What? Do I have sauce on my face, or something? She rubbed at her mouth. I opened my mouth, but I couldn't speak. All I could do was stare. From my left eye, her face looked slightly different. Her eyes were just a few millimeters closer together. Her cheeks pinched in slightly. Her lips were thinner, her chin longer. Rob? I pushed out the chair. I'll be right back. I stumbled into the bathroom, ran the tap, and splashed cold water on my face. The differences were slight. If I'd seen a photo of her how my blind eye saw her, I probably would just think it's a weird photo. If I looked at it quickly, I probably wouldn't notice a difference at all. I'm freaking out over nothing. There was obviously an explanation. Maybe I was slightly nearsighted or farsighted in my left eye, and that caused her face to be slightly distorted. Like a camera lens. I'd seen photos showing how the distance from the lens can distort a face. It must be something like that. Rob? Her voice came through the door. Are you okay? I'm fine, I managed to shout back. Yes. Fine. Ruining a nice evening for no reason at all. I wiped my face with the towel. Took in a deep breath to calm myself. Let it out slowly through my nose, counting to 10. My hand curled around the doorknob. Sorry, Awa. I froze. There was something dark on her hand. Semi-transparent, like when you hold your finger too close to your face. Like when you see something only out of one eye. I closed my right eye and stared. It was the cut, from when she'd chopped the garlic. Sliced across the last joint of her index finger, a bit of blood crusted around the injury. But it wasn't red. It was black.